Hey gang, Ross Brand here for Ross and Nez. See, you thought I was going to say live something, but I didn't. Went right into Ross and Nez. Welcome, Professor Nez. Great to see you.
Good to see you too, Ross. What's up, brother?
Yeah, it's a talk show. You got.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. No, I was introducing myself to the neighbors, and
is there another Nez here? I don't know who.
So I want to talk about automation today, and yes. I know you do as well. It's kind of a hot topic. It's all kind of the rage. People are talking about you should use it, you shouldn't use it. Where is it okay to use it? And as I was setting up, I realized I'm using it to send. I think it's a step forward for us, right? I'm using this app called Live Leap. And basically what happens is when we go live on the Ross and Nez page, and you can get there by going to rossandnez.com/Facebook. When we go live on the Ross and Nez page, by setting up this Live Leap app now for our page, it automatically shares it to my business page, to my personal profile, and everything else, so that I can focus on the show and not be like, I got to share this here, I got to share this there, and so I think that's beneficial. That would be kind of the good kind of automation, right?
Right. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting topic, and this is something I feel like I go back and forth on this, kind of like I do with everything in my life.
But, that's why you're not getting anywhere. You're just
that's probably it. That's what's holding me back. I'll probably quit this show in a week. Anyway, but no.
Right after I hook up this app so that it shares it.
See ya.
Yeah, we gotta share it to the Professor Nez page in group too. We got to figure that.
I just did that. Yeah. Well, I just shared it.
See, look at you. You're doing it old school. You're doing a point and click. There's something
about feeling it too. This is okay. So this is important.
Seriously,
will you stop kidding around for a second?
Yeah, because we were just roaring with laughter a minute ago.
No, I actually, I do go back and forth on this because there is such a thing as, I think, strategic, intelligent automation. And I'll talk about what I do with my consulting business, in a little bit. But there is, this kind of gamifying the system, this sort of automating your posts, and it starts to creep into ickyville. And what do I mean by ickyville is it just feels like sometimes, and I think a lot of people would agree. I can't wait to see what people think about this. Hey, James is in the house. Good to see James Crawford.
James.
Leave a comment, James, and share if you don't mind. We would really appreciate that. Sharing is caring.
We do have other people here as well, and we would love you to say hello, throw your name in the chat, say hi. Let us know what you think about automation and what questions you have about automation, as we do have Kim Doyle and Chris Barrows will be joining us, two people who have strong thoughts about how automation can and can't be used effectively, and whether it should or shouldn't be used in social media. Now, Nez, what were you saying before I rudely interrupted you?
Thanks a lot. No, I'm really excited.
Pausing is really good, but when you go too long, I'm just like, okay, all right.
I know. I get it. I know. You kind of have the attention span of a gnat, but that's okay. So here's the thing. Like what I mean by it feeling icky is that I think when it gets to the point where you don't know if you're talking to actually Ross Brand or you're talking to an actual robot, and everything seems to be, going towards this mechanized, interaction, engagement, conversation, where how do you define social media? So that modifier, social, right? Otherwise, it's just, is it auto media or is it social media? That's an important thing we need to discuss today. So I'm kind of back and forth.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like how to frame the issue, right? Like if there's a continuum or whatever, or a scale, where do people fit? Like 0 to 10, right? So I guess one side would be like if 1 or 0 would be like not even clicking the publish app on a Facebook page to set something to go out in an hour, right? Like everything is just organic and in the moment, and you post it. And then the other extreme would be trying to avoid any human contact whatsoever, right? So eventually artificial intelligence is going to get to the point where you can probably have a response for anything that anybody would possibly say to you, right?
Yeah.
And so you can just program the bleep out of it. And in fact, there'll be algorithms that you can probably buy that'll be able to respond to anything that someone would say. And at that point, social's completely dead, right? Because it's not. So where are we now? I mean, we're somewhere in the middle, right? I mean,
it's gonna. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people would like to say. A lot of so-called experts like to say this is the future of social media. You know, when I was on Instagram before the show trying to get people over here and promoting it, and I created my own video. It was me doing it. It wasn't a robot, although sometimes I feel like a robot. But you know,
are you real?
Actually, I don't even know why. That's a completely different episode. But you know,
good question. Are you automated? No, we're not automated at the moment.
Yeah, no, we should be. This would be a hell of a lot better show.
Probably would be
if we were automated.
Yeah, AI probably has better answers.
but here's the thing, Ross, is I think that you know, if this is the future of social media, and I think that social media is the predominant form of communication in the 21st century. I really do. We go to social media to find. This is what I was saying in my Instagram video. We go to social media to communicate with our friends, keep up with our businesses and brands and our favorite artists, our favorite celebrities. You know, if this starts to turn into this mechanized, automated world and it just keeps evolving and growing, which I don't think it will. I think the human thing is the most engaging thing. But if it starts getting into this sort of like, I think Facebook's already turned into kind of a marketing vomitorium, if you will. Excuse the description.
Hey, so, coined a new term.
And, you know, is that good or bad? I don't know. Like, here, can I just tell you really quickly how I automate my business, Carlos, and everybody else watching? You know, so the
Do
only
I get
way
to say yes or no? Or...
No, you don't have a choice.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I'll listen then, I guess.
But just really quickly, hey, Dan Queck, good to see you, Dan. Dan wrote a great review on our podcast. Dan is just an awesome
I know that
dude.
Was so awesome. Appreciate it, Dan.
So here's the thing. You know how a lot of people, when they screen clients, so I have a career coach, life coach, you know, resume writing consulting service, LinkedIn profile consulting service. You know, we also do social media marketing too, and live stream as well. And sorry, shameless plug. But anyway, you know, so you know, you know how most consultants or most businesses will have this questionnaire, this survey to kind of vet clients or vet prospective clients. I love getting on the phone. I love getting on the phone and talking to anybody and anywhere, you know what I mean? Like who is interested in my services. So I created and this, you could maybe call this automated, I don't know, but I created a video, okay, that goes through, it's a pretty long video too. Ross, you wouldn't get through 10 seconds of it, but it's an 8-minute video.
Is it over yet?
It's over. It's already over.
Oh, you're not playing it right now, are you?
Hold on.
Okay,
I'm not playing it right now. But there's... Honey, hit record. No, but it's an 8-minute video and it's long, I know, but it goes through my entire process and it's me talking to you, the camera, talking to prospective clients. I'm telling you right now, not only have my clients been like, wow, I was blown away by your video, but it does strategically speed up the process and it saves me a lot of time, energy, explaining things. So if they do want to get on the phone, if they're not ready to commit yet, which I'm happy to get on the phone with them, right. It's a simple 2-minute conversation of just kind of plugging up the loose ends and things of that nature. Does that make sense?
So that's sort of automated, right? In a sense, because it's not you, but it's not like you're sending them an auto DM or something. You've thought about what a typical client wants. You've created content. And then it's there only for specific people who are ready for that step. Right. It's not, you know, you're not sending that out to everybody on Twitter.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, and, you know, somebody says, hi, how's the weather there? And they get the video back, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's got to be a fine line. And that's what we're here to discuss today. Like, what is the fine line? When is it, you know, too much? When is it taking the social again out of social media? And what about the humanness of social media, the humanness of interaction, engagement, conversation? I think you would agree with me, Ross, which is really rare, by the way, that Ross would agree with me.
Why don't you say it first and then we'll see?
Okay. Live video. live streaming is the ultimate humanizing medium. I think it's an unbelievable way to connect with your audience. Hey, Alfredo, Kevin Black, good to see you guys. Dan Queck, still here? Good to see you. So I think that live video and live streaming is the antithesis to automation. I think it goes almost a step beyond in personalized interaction, and really three-dimensionalizes your business brand, who you are, whatever your cause is, whatever your stance is. Even if you're just somebody who's fighting for whatever, a belief, it's an amazing tool, right? I think maybe this is why I'm leaning towards non-automation.
Assuming you don't take something that's pre-recorded and then automate it to go as a live at a certain time.
Right.
Not that I think that's necessarily wrong if people hadn't seen it before. I don't know. I don't do that, but I don't necessarily. Let's get into that in a little bit. I want to bring in Chris Barrows,
cool,
who is an award-winning social media pro for New York University, and also hosts the 5 Favorites and Why I Social podcasts, and doesn't lack for strong opinions on these kind of subjects. So, thanks for joining us, Chris. We appreciate it.
Hey, Chris.
No, happy to join you with that. Like I said, I think the topic is fascinating, and I've dealt with a few things recently from my own personal accounts that just make me have some of these strong opinions. I mean, I joke about this. I was telling Ross about this, but I had an account. I had posted up a photo that was just talking about, well, if I had joined a fraternity, it would have been this group of people. And then I got some automated message on Instagram the other day that was literally asking me to write it. Do you need help to write an essay, for your to be a pledge? I'm like, no. Did you read it? So I definitely have some strong opinions, but based out of personal experiences, to say the least.
So, being that I would say you fall on more the con, you're against automation. Why don't we start with what you consider is acceptable automation or acceptable? First of all, what is automation? Like, does scheduling count as automation? Do bots count as automation? Do recycling apps count as automation? I'm trying to think of everything that could fall under automation.
It's debatable. I think the one thing that I used to say, if you go back and look this up, you're going to find it. I mean, the thing about the social age is you can't hide from things you've said. And I used to say automate to engage. But when I said automate, I wasn't even talking about what I think is automation now, which is I was talking about scheduling. Scheduling content and then planning to be able to engage with it when it goes live. Because I thought it was important. That's
just smart. That's just intelligent, right, Chris? Yeah.
Right. But I was using the term automate then. I think now there's different types of automation that are good, that work, and that I'm pro. For example, if you talk about automation from the sense of messenger bots that can provide some quick FAQ stuff that aren't necessarily replacing a human, they're helping to supplement. Now, if you can't get the answer from a messenger bot, it can go to a human. So to me, that has an advantage. That's automation, but again, useful automation. When you're talking about repurposing content, I think maybe Mark Shaw shared something the other day, but someone shared something where it's like they had an automated thing that was going through evergreen content, as they say, and it was something from Halloween, and it was November 20th. So you have to be careful. So I'm not a fan of it. I'm not saying don't create content that's not reshareable, but I like to reshare in different ways. And so I'm a fan of the scheduling side of things for a business. For personal, though, I mean, I'll just tell you, I don't think you don't need to go post something every 5 minutes. It's just not required.
You know what? I love the way you said that, Chris. And if I could just jump in here, I'd love that. Sure. I was really big into automating my content. This was about a couple months ago, 3 months ago. I was doing it pretty much full steam ahead. And it was almost like I had this, revelation in this really bad crisis moment where, I was using one of the platforms that kind of so you put it on Facebook, your business page, it goes to Twitter, then it goes to LinkedIn, then and it turned out to be, there was some kind of glitch or something. There was some kind of, I don't know what happened, but it ended up posting to all my accounts, the same post simultaneously, like 122 times. And it was like panic button, right? Like, it's like, oh my God, everybody who all my entire audience is going to be like, what in the world is this guy doing? What's happened? Why? I already saw what's going on. It was just a nightmare. And that was the moment I stopped, Chris. I completely ended my automation for content creation. It's a ton of more work doing it all on yourself. I mean, just before this show, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Snapchat, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, promoting this video that I created to get people here. but it feels more, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just old school. Maybe I don't know what it is. It feels more like it just feels good. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know how else to describe it. And it's, yeah.
This is what I have to just say. It fascinates me because when you automate and get so into it, I've seen a lot of people who I used to, really look up to. And unfortunately, from a social perspective, I think they've gone a different direction. I've had a lot of people on my show who I think have changed the way that they do things. And it's frustrating. I understand why people do it because you go into a business mode. Oh, I can't post as much. But I think the mistake that gets made is that you think, again, that you need to post all the time. You don't. Yeah, you want to post a few times on Twitter, certainly. But I think you want to be cautious about what you're doing and be careful. I cite, this was years ago. Ross has heard this before, but one time I remember it was one of those automatic quote services. The name doesn't matter. There's a bunch of them. I don't support any of them personally, but it pushed out. This was right after information about the Bill Cosby case came out, and it was a Bill Cosby quote that said something about taking what you want. And I just remember the horror. I messaged a person and said, you just sent this quota, and they had no clue. They had no clue because the service was recycling things over and over.
Oh, man.
So you think about it, it's a dangerous thing. And I'd rather have control of it. It does take more time. I have, for projects I work on, I have someone who assists me and helps me out, so we can keep it in that, in that vein of maybe we'll schedule a few things, but I even don't try to schedule if I don't have to. And I don't have to post on the hour, on every hour. If you're a global company, yeah, you have to schedule, but I still think you got to think about who do we have to respond to this if there's a question or a response. And that's where I used to say automate to engage, but I was really saying schedule to engage.
Yeah.
And that was the reality of what
Great point.
So you draw a strong line there between scheduling and automating. Scheduling frees your time to engage, and automating, I mean, is this fair to say, like, almost automating is a way not to spend time on the platform at all? It becomes, the mindset is like, if I can automate this, then I don't have to go to Twitter today or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I just look at the danger, like you said. Also, I mean, you can tell just by searching a topic that's no longer relevant. For instance, I can put hashtag blab into a Twitter, which I do every so often just for fun, and I get people's tutorial like how to use blab. I can put what was it called, the thing that used to save your periscopes?
Oh yeah.
I can put that in, and there's still that's been gone over 2 years, I think, and still people have tutorials recycling that. If you hit that hashtag, now they probably luck out because people aren't searching those hashtags very much. But if they added in like hashtag live streaming or hashtag podcast or something, guess where they're recycling through, where a lot of eyes are seeing that. Catch. Yes, Alfredo's got it. Catch.
There it is. That's it. Right.
Let's bring in. Go ahead, Chris.
Ross, I just say this: it's be present. I mean, right. I'm going to tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of overscheduling either. I just recognize that it's a reality. But for me, it's be present. If you're going to share something, you need to be able to respond to it. If you look, this is a large group of people we're talking about. There's not one person who I think is the prime example of this, but all the people who do automation to get their followers. But if you look at the engagement rate of some of these people with 90,000, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, I mean, that keeps going up. Look at their engagement rate. Yeah. I can tell you, I could name 20 people who have less than 10,000 followers easily who are going to have a better overall engagement rate and more comments. But what's the point of having these large numbers if people aren't actually the right people? Perfect. And that's why I don't agree with it, especially from that mindset of, well, this is how we can grow this audience. It might look good, right. But when you actually dig into the numbers, you're going to look worse. And that's, to me, it's from a business perspective in particular.
Yeah, and a brand perspective, right? I mean, what's your intention? If your intention is to like have this sort of meaty social presence, this high credibility in numbers and analytics, well, isn't engagement the number one like barometer for success in that kind of regard? And I completely agree with you, Chris. I see these huge accounts, 500,000 followers on Twitter, maybe one heart, on maybe one retweet, if that. I see a lot of them with zero engagement. So what's your intention? Is your intention just to get that number up? And I think that's an interesting point because we live in a world where other companies, brands, sponsors do look at those numbers and say, well, hey, Chris Barrows has 500,000 followers, so we should obviously take him seriously. And I think that's an interesting thing to discuss, because what is more important? What's more important from what
publishing? Sorry to cut you off. I just want to jump in. In media and publishing, there are it's easy for me to say, often companies that have hard limits. Like, you don't get a book deal if you don't have 20,000 Twitter followers, or you don't get a TV show if you don't have 100,000. I don't know what their limits are, but they go strictly by those numbers and figure a certain percentage of the people are going to watch or read or engage or buy, and they don't look any deeper than that. So then, can you really blame somebody who's, a few thousand followers away from a book deal or a TV show possibility, and they go, you know what? I'm going to do follow on follow for a little while, because otherwise somebody else who's no more deserving than I am is going to get the deal. And I'm not saying I don't do that, but I'm asking to play devil's advocate. Are people always guilty of some big crime if they just do a little bit of it to push themselves over an edge? Like, where is it wrong, or what do you make of that?
It's best to have both, isn't it, Chris? It's best to have both. Obviously, I mean, that's in an ideal world.
I like the both and the mix, but but the bottom line is this: I think there's an education component here. We need to educate, and this is the reason I think we're in an interesting time when we need to continue to share. Here's something awesome I did, and this is a cool way you can achieve this success without, say, using automation. I know some people, don't want to say no or yes, and they say, no, we can just agree to get along on all these things. But the reality is we have different opinions, and that's fine. I think if you're close to one of those book deals, I mean, I can understand it. If you were 100 followers short of a book deal and you did follow and follow for 3 days and it got you, I can kind of see where you would do that. But it's difficult for me to say, because I won't do it. It's, to me, I have a principle that I hold to, but I understand where people would. And when it's your family that you're trying to pay bills for, it's your living, that comes into play. But I think if you live and breathe off it, and that is what your philosophy is, in the long run, someone's going to come to realize, as the data continues to show, wait a minute, this doesn't work. In the long run,
plus, isn't it going to backfire? I mean, you get the book deals, so you get the the sponsorship, the brand deal, what have you, and then they put it to the test. Okay, so we've given you this opportunity. What are you going to produce? And you produce one retweet. That's not good, is it?
No. So I think you just have to be realistic about it. Set the right expectations. I used to, for YS Social, have a sponsor that did some of this data, so I saw a lot of it, and when I saw that was certainly valuable, but I saw it mostly in the conversations. Keep in mind, look, the ROI here for most people is clicks or signups or something like that. You can still drive that. A lot of that is personal conversations. I've driven more success myself personally, because even in my full-time job, which is which is really that's what pays my bills. Right. My social media has helped me, because I've met people who have been able to bring in and provide expertise here. So I think that all those things are really valuable, and you just need to be aware, who are you reaching, what value they provide. And like I said, in the end, look, I realize people have different opinions. We don't need to argue about it, but I think we need to all, on both sides, be able to listen. But in the end, like I said, I will never understand why I need to have 200,000 followers and 2 retweets, because that's not looking good. And
I'll argue with Ross, because Ross doesn't know anything, so I'll argue with him all day. Don't worry about
it. So before you run, tell us what's going on with YS Social podcast, and you and Amir, of course, doing the 5 favorites, and you're kind of doing a rebrand on that. Give us an update of where things are.
We're in the process right now. For those who have listened to the show, 5 favorites started as something that came out of the initial podcast. It was a feature on the show. It turned into its own show, which was focused on social media marketing and technology. And what's happened now is we're splitting them into 2 separate RSS feeds. It makes sense. You can subscribe to one or the other or both. So all this is ongoing. By the new year, we hope to have this all launched. And why social, really, it's about the education and showing these are people in social media who do good things. They may not get a lot of attention. They may not be social celebrities, so to speak, but I think they're good people. And it comes back to the core, which is, for me, education. So I will be announcing a new sponsor soon as well. Details still being worked out. So excited, but you'll see
Awesome.
attention focus.
Congrats on all the success of the podcast.
What a pleasure, Chris.
Yeah, it's awesome having you on. Thanks so much. The website is yisocial.com. The podcast is called the YI Social Podcast, and also 5 favorites. And Chris works for NYU and is an award-winning social media professional for NYU. Came up with
nice to have intelligent people on the show, unlike unlike us two.
Don't be so hard on yourself, Ned.
I was actually talking about you, Ross.
You were. I wasn't listening, so wait, no. Let's bring in Kim Doyle. I'm sure she has a little different perspective on automation, or at least Kim, I could say, is very familiar with a lot of tools that are out there. So she could at least give us an idea of which she considers acceptable automation. You don't have to necessarily name them by name, but of the kind of tools, Kim, that are out there, are there some you consider this is appropriate and some you say, I would never use that, or it crosses the line?
You know, all my social stuff is the automation tools that I use. It's all based on content. So if you're creating content and it's valuable, you know, run with it. I mean, and you have to figure out what works. Obviously, you know, again, not the social media expert, but in terms of content, you know, find what works for you. You know, I'm not here to pimp social tools, but you know, CoSchedule, like I use it because it's in my dashboard, right? It works with my content. And could I do it better? Yeah. I also like Social Warfare because you can customize per channel and, you know, and do custom images. So, and then you need to know kind of long game what platforms you're using and which ones work for you. But there's no way you can't not automate it. I mean, unless you're, you know, Gary Vee and you're living on it. And I love the guy, but you know, it's figuring out where you can automate. And like, I'm on Facebook more often. I'm way more personally engaged, one-on-one, creating content on Facebook because it works for me.
Plus, Gary has, you know, an entire company behind him that can help him. He's got a team. I think he has a personal team of like 25 people working on his social.
Hey guys, not right now. I'm doing
Ross has got 2 guys living in a basement and they haven't eaten in a week.
Follow me around with a camera wherever I
go. My dogs are my team right now.
Ross, these poor guys got fooled into thinking Ross was actually somebody.
You're killing me today, Nez.
I'm killing you. This is my first introduction to Nez. I'm like, we're right there. No, I'm just kidding. Ross.
Yeah, thank you. Good to see you, Kim.
Nez, meet Kim. Kim is the host of the WordPress Chick podcast.
I know who Kim is.
I know who she is, but I'm introducing to everybody. And by that,
sorry.
And Nez, and then I go, that's how it works.
You know what? The one thing I was going to say, to go back just to a little snippet of Gary Vee, is he's good about interacting personally, right? And I think as we've started automating, and too many people won't say, hey, let's hop on a call, or hey, let's do this. And obviously Gary's not hopping on calls, but he responds personally to people. Yeah. And I think anytime you can do that, no attachments to what this is going to look like, it's going to drive things so much quicker. I mean, Ross, I think that's kind of how we connected through a live stream where you reached out and I was like, yeah, let's hop on a call, or, you know, having those real conversations. And just it's that value give. And it sounds trite, but I think the market is catching up to be real, just connect with people and have conversations.
Exactly. Be a human being.
Yeah. And nobody cares. Like, I was so in my head for so long about, I got to get ready for a live stream. And I did clean up today a little bit because I was getting
I wish Ross would have cleaned up.
Yeah. I'm just good to go 24/7. Live stream? Okay.
Ross just woke up.
Yeah. But that's it, right? And people want more of that. It's why you see, you know, the old school internet marketing Lamborghinis. Yeah, all that stuff isn't working anymore because people don't connect with those people. And so, you know, more of my content, even the requeued stuff, it's that vulnerable, raw, real stuff. So it doesn't matter if it's automated, if the content is good, I think. And then if you can tweak it a little bit, you're good.
Well said.
So I noticed that I wouldn't say you weren't a fan of Gary Vee, but you were a sort of a skeptic, right? And then lately you've become an addict or something. Like, what is the cause of the change?
Just like the rest of us.
You know, Gary Vee to All hail Gary V.
Okay, so first of all, I've always said it was a love-hate relationship with him, but and I've shared, I met him it was crazy. I was coming out of an elevator, and it was him, and it was me, and I was like, Gary V. He took a selfie with me. I didn't have my phone. He took it, emailed it to me. I've never not liked him as a person. It was the whole hustle. But the thing is, it was when I watched his the keynote he did with ClickFunnels, right? And he did this Q&A with people. And so many people have clung to his hustle and grind, but there's way more to his message. It's really old school fundamentals. Be in this for the long game. Be a nice person, create value, look at this, not to get rich tomorrow. All that's, it's just, so it's kind of like I stopped paying attention to the hustle. And the truth is, Ross, with that, it's like, I think I felt like I was working my ass off. How can I work harder? But I was just doing the wrong work. And so when people were screaming, do the work and hustle, I was taking it so personal, like, what else can I do? And then I got clear, and I shifted the way I worked, and I shifted the work I was doing. Right. And now it's like, I can easily work 16, 18 hours a day when I'm in the flow. And then I might crash.
You're talking about working intelligently. Automating intelligently, correct?
Absolutely.
Kim? So let me ask you, do you automate your content as well?
No, it's all me. Yeah.
Very cool. That's what I like to hear. Yeah.
I don't know how you could, and I've had people who will do like guest posts.
A lot of people do on Twitter, especially.
I can't, you know what it is? Yeah. And maybe if it was a company versus me, and because I'm pivoting to a personal brand, and I even thought, well, my daughter could probably do some social for me. She knows my voice. And even I'm a little bit wackier than she is sometimes.
Are you like me, Kim, where it just feels better, doesn't it? Like you feel more alive, more like that. I don't know. Maybe it's that old school work ethic. You just feel like you get that sense of, okay, I did this on my own. I did this. I put it out there. I created it. I distributed it. I don't know. There's something about, never mind the sort of inhumanness of automation, just the feeling of personal satisfaction. I don't know, which I have so little of in my life, especially working with Ross. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Okay, quiet now, Nez. The adults are going to talk for a couple of minutes. Right,
I'm going to go to sleep. See you guys.
First of all, a great comment by Dean Jonathan. People have always thought they can make a quick buck, but don't want to do the hard work for it. And I think that's a lot of what automation is about, and it's about really not having to work on social anymore. At the same time, we're all swamped, right? Like we have so much more to do than ever before, right? It's no longer like you come home from work at 5 o'clock, you shut the door, and it's like, hey, nobody can reach me again until 9 tomorrow morning. No,
right.
You come home from work, and then you're doing social, and then you're responding to emails, and it could be 24/7. So there's a place for it, but it's where, and I want to build on something that Nez said, because believe it or not, I think there's wisdom in this.
That's
Tim,
a first,
and I want to see what you think. But where he's just,
are you feeling okay, Ross?
No, I'm not. It's obviously something's wrong with me. We're gonna have it checked out later this afternoon.
CAT scan aisle 12. CAT scan aisle 12.
We found out he was listening to Nez. Take him in. Treat him. No, but where you were saying it feels better and it feels sense of accomplishment. You know how when you're speaking to a room full of people and you can sense the room and what. Yeah, I think I was going to approach it this way, but I'm going to approach the topic a little bit differently because I think they're going to be into that more, or, they're asleep after lunch, so I need to wake them up, or they're too wired after something, so I need to bring it down a little bit to get, you know what I'm talking about. And as you're supposedly a good public speaker. Where am I going with this?
Too, huh?
Where am I going with it? Oh, okay. So I even feel like when I tweet in the moment, like I know this is crazy, right? With it 7 billion people or whatever, but I feel like I sense something about the moment.
Yeah.
Compared to if it's just like an auto scheduled tweet or whatever, that like, well, that might have been right for the moment when I wrote it, but maybe it's not right 4 weeks from now or whatever. And not because
also what Chris Barrows was saying about presence.
I mean, it's not because I'm going to quote, Charlie Rose or something. I had him lined up.
Not anymore.
Right. I mean,
maybe Nora O'Donnell, but not.
I'm sure if Twitter was around 30 years ago, somebody would be, would have an O.J. Simpson quote or something that was still recycling. They just kept paying their membership. So I don't know. There was a point in there somewhere, Kim. I have no idea, but
get to it.
Can you? You're being an expert podcaster. Can you build off of that at all?
I can. My guess is Kim. Well, you know what it is? It's that intuitive feeling, right? And I'll tell you. And I swear, you guys, I'm not getting a commission off of mentioning Gary Vee. It's
Thanks
just
for
I've
saving.
But when you look at like how many times when you just have that intuitive nudge, like this is good, this is not, whatever. And even in content. So like I talk about, I do these daily emails and people are like, do you really do that every day in the morning? I'm like, yeah, because it's just how I'm feeling or what's going on. And like today I got a response. Someone thanked me. I was talking about Rocky and persevering and the hero's journey. And so you never know, but, and so I don't know what it is about social media that people think it's not work, right? This is part of what we do. Like we've chosen this field, this industry, these types of businesses because we can do it all the time. So having a conversation, creating personal content, personally posting something is part of what we do. Like it's not all supposed to be like happening in the background.
Yeah, good call.
And yet on Twitter, the engagement and the human interaction seems to only take place in certain circumstances, right? People are watching a live event, they're tweeting about it, and that's real time, right? People are participating in a Twitter chat. But then there's times where you can look through your feed and it's like, okay, I saw this yesterday, saw this 5 times before, saw this in everybody else's feed, and especially if you search by hashtags, you'll see like the same stuff over and over and over again. So, I mean, I think if some automation lets you focus on those things where you can engage with real people and where real people are paying attention, I think it's okay to maybe automate or schedule some of your stuff so that if nobody's really there to engage with it on the moment, does it matter whether you're there to put it out there?
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
Well,
no, that doesn't talk.
I don't really count.
I still get traffic from Twitter. I'm not super active on it. And if people message me or talk to me, I totally respond, but I'm not personally. And again, it just comes down to my own personal bandwidth, right? And so, and the other thing is like the other tool I didn't mention though was Missing Letter, which it'll schedule your content. You can go in and create like 9 or 12 messages for the year, but you can edit them. So it's all different. So you can pull out a different quote. So it pulls up these suggested, messages to send out to your networks, but you can go in, change the image, change the text, and then it's done for the year. So it's not like just reiterating where, again, like I love CoSchedule, but I don't do a lot of requeuing anymore because it's the same message all the time, where Missing Letter lets me tweak it and then I'm done.
Interesting.
Missing Letter. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's a cool tool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And I think it's going to be an AppSumo deal, you guys, for Black Friday. If anyone's watching, I think they're bringing it back. I got it for one of their lifetime for like $39. The guys are great. I've interviewed them. They're really pulling it together, and you can pull in different pages. It's a total steal. And you can add in hashtags and stuff. I like it a lot.
And you can tag people and everything.
Yep. Yeah. I haven't done that, but it's good.
Once the tweet goes out, it tags people anyway, right? So, I mean, as long as you have the right @ symbol and all that. So you can use that instead of CoSchedule, or it works with CoSchedule?
You can use that instead of, if you want. So basically, you just pull in your feed for your content, and it'll go, your campaign's ready, and you log in, and it's created all of these, and it'll even pull up suggested hashtags, which they're not super stellar right now. I'm like, I don't need the word, believe as a hashtag when it's just a word in the post. So it just
be live is a great hashtag. Believe, no, but be live. In fact, it's even better. Best of Be Live. That's a wonderful hashtag. And of course, we love Ross and Nez as a hashtag, and the live stream experience as a hashtag, because this is Ross and Nez, the live stream experience. And you can find our podcast on iTunes, rossandnez.com/iTunes. Thanks to everybody who's been subscribing and writing great great reviews and everything else. We really appreciate all the support. Kim, tell us what you're working on. You got the content creators group, new product coming out. You're doing a rebrand. Can we still call you the word?
She's crushing it.
Can we? Do we still call you the WordPress chick, or do we want to just Kim Doyle?
I'm going to come up with a formerly known as
the artist formerly known as the WordPress chick,
the blogger formerly known as. No, it'll forward, but after the first of the year.
Good call, Kevin.
I love WordPress. It's given me a lot, but I don't talk about it a lot. So content creators, I'm going to do a content creation summit in January. I'm excited about that, and then lead surveys. It's talk about jumping in blindly to a web app, a SaaS product. My partner's had some health issues. I'm excited about it though. Lead surveys is coming. I believe in personalized marketing and really catering the message. So there's that automation piece, but yeah, everything's going to be under Kim Doyle. I'm a little bit, 9 years later, it's like, let's do this.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. Everybody can go to kimdoyle.com and find out more information about what Kim is talking.
Let's do a roll call, Ross.
Sure. Why don't we? Professor, would you like me to do the roll call, or would you like to?
I want to say hi to Dean Jonathan, Kevin Black. I want to say hi to Nazim's in the house. My mom is mourning over the Charlie Rose issue. She never missed an interview. It's really interesting what's been happening the last two months, month and a half.
He didn't seem like the one that.
I feel like it's going to happen to everybody.
Like everybody's mom.
I feel like Mr. Rogers is next.
Yeah.
Fred Rogers, who's since deceased, used to. I don't know, but that's a whole nother episode.
He used to come in by the train tracks with his robe on before.
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode. But Kevin says common problem and misconception: scheduling and automation. Kevin Mullet here aren't the same, and both require moderation and management. Scheduling, reviewed, approved, can delay. Hey, Kevin, try not to write an essay next time. Thank you. No, I'm kidding. I can't read this much. Delayed because it's not ideal right now. Automation equals program triggered and unconfirmed. Alfredo's in the house. Thank you, Kevin. Virginia says, wow. I don't know what she said wow to. Probably the fact that Ross and Nez are alive. Kevin Black.
The fact that Nez can get through reading. I mean, as a writer.
Deserves a wow. That deserves a capital wow.
You shouldn't be having trouble with Facebook comments, but hey.
What's interesting, Ross, if I could kind of
by the way, Kim Doyle says it's great to meet you, Nez.
Great to meet you too, Kim. You were awesome. She's fantastic.
She obviously doesn't know you all that well.
Let me do a Jerry Springer final thought, if I may.
Yes.
Here's what's interesting. It seems
let's get the guys fighting in just a moment.
Yeah. I'm going to tackle you in a second, Ross. Okay. But what's really interesting is it seems like it's the same with everything, doesn't it, Ross? It seems like, and I want to hear your thoughts, guys. Leave it in the comments. Everything is the same. It seems like moderation is the answer, right? You don't want to do too much eating. You don't want to eat too little. You don't want to exercise too much. You don't want to eat too little. Same with automation, right? I think Chris, two wonderful guests, Chris and Kim. Chris said a really interesting thing too. Like, right, there's, and so did Kim, there's interesting, strategic, intelligent, practical ways to apply automation. And then there's other ways where it just gets totally out of hand. And I think it can actually ruin your brand. Virginia, thank you. Wow, this is the first one. Wow, it's all downhill after this, Virginia. Trust me.
and not our show, but no. No.
It's
all downhill. I get rid of Nez, we'll be back. But
no. Yeah. I'll be leaving the country. Thank you. No. But it's everything in moderation. What do you guys think in the comments? And Ross, what's your kind of final deal?
I think there's no black and white with this stuff. Like you said, it's all in moderation. It's what your intention is and what your use is. If you're, like Chris Barrows, clearly not a college student, clearly not looking to rush a fraternity, gets a message back because he mentions fraternity in a tweet, and he gets an auto DM about a service trying to write his essay to join a fraternity, which I never knew that there were essays to join fraternities.
That's amazing. That's a first.
Hey, he seems like he'd be fun to hang out with, good time, likes to party. And by the way, how did he do on the essay?
Yeah, for crying out loud.
I never heard of that before.
Did he leave too many dangling participles?
Yes,
he's out.
We cannot have him. But yeah, I mean, so it's all what's appropriate. But if, I think.
Thank you, Kevin.
Well, how would people feel if we had a messenger bot for this show? As we go live, basically spontaneously. I said basically spontaneously because we'll decide like a couple hours before. Like, are you around in a couple hours? Okay, great. There's good stuff to talk about today.
You got to stay alert, y'all.
How would you guys feel if we had a messenger bot that alerted everyone when we were about to go live? Would you like that, or would you prefer just subscribe to our page, subscribe to our podcast,
Great question,
and let iTunes or Facebook notify you in the manner that you have those apps set up? And that gives us some idea. Are we helping you so that you don't miss an episode, or are we bothering you? And I think those are the questions that people need to ask. Am I being helpful to everybody involved, or am I only looking out for, like, it's not worth it to get a follow or to get a like or to get a cheap comment on a post to hit somebody up who doesn't want to hear from you, right? But if you let people opt into a bot or opt into email or something automated, that's different, because then they're saying it's important to me to know when you go live, or it's important to me to know when your next blog post comes out or whatever. So yes, please do ping me when that happens.
That's a great question.
And Kim says, I would love it. I've been digging into Messenger and think there is great value to it. She appreciates the Messenger reminders and says yes to that. All right. So that's very nice. Glad we got a yes from Kim Doyle. And there's no right or wrong answer, people. Please do throw a yes or a no in the chat. It doesn't mean if you say yes, you're going to get bot from us tomorrow, because at least I have to figure out how this thing works.
We'll be reading the manual all weekend.
We do want to know. Yes, Nez will be reading the manual.
If I can get through it.
Yes. It's going to be more complicated than reading Facebook.
I need to get my abacus out. Wait, do you use that for reading? At least I do.
Oh, Chris Barrows isn't here anymore. Let me put that up on the screen. Ross and Nez. That's the name of the show, Ross and Nez. And again, you can find the podcast, rossandnez.com/iTunes. So what do you have planned for Thanksgiving? You doing anything exciting?
I'm going to eat a lot.
You're going to eat a lot, yeah.
I think that's about it.
That's it.
I'm not really crazy about seeing the entire family. I'm going to eat a lot. That's about it.
Staying home
for the food.
You're going to stay home and hide in the back room and just grab all the food you can.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I have to tell you this. You may find this really, really funny. Well, I doubt it, but
no.
I actually
okay. All right, I'll listen this time. Just
Thanksgiving food is my favorite food of all time. I'm not even kidding you. I love turkey. I love mashed potatoes. I love stuffing. I love all the accoutrements that come along with a Thanksgiving meal. So I'm really excited about Thanksgiving. I don't know why, but it's like, maybe because it's so rare that you have a meal like that, right? I mean, let's be honest. With my physique, there's not much I don't like to eat. But the thing is that there's something about Thanksgiving meal. I don't know. I'm not one of these guys. You know how some people like to separate their food, like salads over here?
Nah, you throw it all on the plate.
I throw it all on the plate and just gobble it up.
Before somebody else takes it.
Yeah. As my wife says, you kind of eat like a polar bear. Anyway, so, I love it. I'm looking for. How about you? What do you got going on, Ross?
Yeah. I just want to mention that Kim mentioned here that ManyChat has ManyChat, MANY chat has a great ultimate guide posted on their blog for
lots of wine
chat bots. Yeah, and Kevin Black says the messenger bots can produce marvelous voice to your needs and bring tremendous quick delivery of great value to your audience.
Oh, cool.
So those
Thank
are
you, Kevin.
Those are a couple of pro chat bot comments, but yeah, I mean, I like the turkey, the stuffing, everything. I like potatoes.
Do you sop it all up, or do you separate everything?
I mean, I'll put it on my plate, but I don't. Like if they touch, it's not poisoned or something. I mean,
oh my god, no, my wife's like that, and a lot of people are like this. Not just my wife. If the peas touch the cranberry sauce, it's like World War VII. So everything's some people are like that. They don't like their salad mixed with their turkey. They don't. I just mix the whole thing up. I don't care.
I don't bother with peas or salad on Thanksgiving. I mean,
You go straight for the gullet.
You're overeating by 10 miles anyway, right? Like, okay, I had a piece of lettuce with it. Now, that's,
And I actually look forward to the turkey coma. I don't mind the turkey coma. I love it.
Football, the extra, what is it,
Who's playing on Thursday, by the way?
I don't know, but there's like 3 games on.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I'll probably sleep through.
Nothing better than gravy on your green salad, says Kevin.
Yeah.
You better believe it, Kevin. So we're just going to be doing that. And, I'm excited and so pumped. Ross and I joke around a lot, which is, I think, one of the distinguishing characteristics of this show, because we wouldn't be doing it if we weren't having an absolute blast. And as much as I joke around and kid with Ross, I got to tell you this. I'm so humbled and privileged, and I feel blessed to have my partner in crime, Mr. Ross Brand, the mayor of live streaming. I'm the professor of live streaming. He's the mayor. And, I'm so pumped about this show, brother. I got to tell you, I haven't been this excited since, I got my first Atari. No, I don't know. I was trying to be funny. That just came out. But I'm really excited about this.
You're definitely not shooting for the younger demographic with the Atari reference.
Yeah, about every millennial on the planet goes, what's an Atari?
That was like the first video game thing, right? And you hit the ball back, and then you hit it back with the other one. Wow, this is exciting. Can you believe you could do that on a TV?
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember the TV where you had to actually stand up before remote controls and just turn the channel yourself?
Oh, my God, that was awful.
Wasn't it awful? You got your TV dinner with your Salisbury steak.
Came along where you could just go like this, and then you didn't stop changing channels.
My goodness gracious. What a nightmare. I have to get up? Are you kidding me? Get up? Right. Looks like we're watching Brokaw for the next 10 hours.
Yeah, you didn't really have that many channels to choose from anyway.
About 5 channels, yeah. And one of them was wrestling, and I was happy about that. Seeing Ric Flair, that's all I needed.
Yeah, that was always fun. Then I'd practice my wrestling moves on people.
On my brother, yeah. Me and my friends would just basically do. Oh yeah. Let me show you what a pile driver is. Thank you, Kevin. That means a lot.
The chemistry works, guys. Truly, the
Kevin,
two of you
awesome.
are so good. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm really thankful for all the wonderful feedback we've had, the great reviews on iTunes. If you haven't subscribed or left a review, we really do appreciate it. We do read them all, and we love getting that feedback. If there's anything, I won't speak for Nez, but
you can.
I'd say Nez is we're both accessible, right?
Super.
If you have any suggestions for the show, anything you'd like to hear, see, guess,
topics,
anything,
any topics, ideas,
definitely leave us messages in the comments. We read them all. We respond to them all. We love to hear from you guys. I am extremely thankful that Nez is here and did show up, and he enjoys working with me, so that's a plus for Nez. I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful that look, you were the one who suggested we do a show together, and I resisted and finally broke me down. And
that's kind of how I courted my wife, by the way. She resisted and resisted. Finally gave in.
Yeah, but you didn't have to use a net or anything. No,
you'd be surprised.
You just used reason, and I'm so glad to be doing this. I look forward to every show that we do, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the year and next year brings. Hosting this show, I think we're both pretty much committed that this is gonna. Well, we need to be committed, but are committed that this is gonna, that this is gonna be an ongoing thing, and we don't schedule them, we're coming back.
I am super, super excited, and I definitely can return the compliment, my brother. And you guys watching, thank you so much. You guys listening on the podcast, watching on the replay, thank you so much. And just to echo what Ross said, definitely I'm accessible. I know Ross is accessible, and definitely please let us know what kind of topics, what kind of things are working, what's not working. We want to make this show for you guys, and we want it to be fun, exciting. Ross and I, we have fun no matter what, but we want this to be engaging and interesting to you, and we do really appreciate the feedback. I've been getting insanity. I mean, insanity feedback. Like, I've been getting messages throughout the night, throughout the day. Dude, you guys rock. You guys are this. So it seems to be going beautifully, and there seems to be a nice momentum. We want to keep that train rolling, y'all. So let us know. Thank you so much for checking us out.
Well, awesome. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a great holiday. And we will be back with another episode of Ross and Nez very soon. Have a great day, everybody.